Shalom u'bracha, peace and blessings. This week's Torah reading is titled Parshat Terumah, the Torah reading of Terumah, which is actually tithes. In this week's Torah reading, it discusses the creation of the forerunner of both the modern-day synagogue and the temple in Jerusalem, the Mishkan, the portable sanctuary, which was the center of the Israelite camp in the travels of the Midbar, of the desert. And this concept is introduced to us with the words, V'asu li migdash v'shalchanti b'socham. And you shall create for me a sanctuary that I may dwell amongst them. This wording has created difficulty for the commentaries for many generations. Why do we need a physical structure in order for God to dwell among us? Don't we believe that God is among us when we walk in the center of Portsmouth or in Times Square or any place else that we may find ourselves? We see God in the very nature of creation. We see God in each other. Why do we need a sanctuary for God to dwell among us? The word b'socham or b'tocham can be translated among them or within them. And everything that we do in our sacred spaces is a way for us to bring God into our hearts. It is a place that we can relate to God on very human terms. There are some interesting instructions within this week's Torah reading that can give us a model for congregational life. God instructs Moshe to conduct the first building campaign. Daber el b'nei Yisrael, speak to the children of Israel. V'yikhu li truma, and they shall take for me a tithe or an offering. Me'ez kol ish asher yidbenu libo, from every person whose heart moves them. This was a free will offering. Tikhu et trumasi, you shall take my offering. It challenges our sacred institutions to make themselves relevant and connect to the individual in a way that they might want to give of themselves and their possessions to support this worthy institution. And then, when it gets to the construction of the Aron HaKodesh, which is the most sacred of vessels within the sanctuary, it goes from a Lashon Yachid to a Lashon Rabin. It goes from a plural, from an individual construct into a plural construct. So it is saying that the community should create this holiest of vessels. We, by nature, tend to look at things from the perspective of what can the individual do for the whole, and we take on tasks individually. And this is very important. The reality is that the command to create the menorah was individual. The command to create each of the utensils that was used in the service was individual. But when it came to creating the Aron HaKodesh, the Holy Ark, the most sacred of vessels, the Ark that would hold the covenants of the tablet, it is plural. We all need to have a hand in Torah. Torah needs to be accessible to all of us. When we celebrate the study of Torah, when we celebrate Simchat Torah, we take the Torah from the Ark, we bring it among the people, and we dance with the Torah. This is the greatest mandate for our sacred institutions. We need to take Torah. We need to bring it among the people. We need to realize that Torah is not simply for the rabbis. It's not simply for the scholars. It is not for the intellectually elite. It is for everybody. Torah tziva lanu Moshe, Moshe commanded the words of Torah to us collectively as a people. May we be blessed in our sacred institutions to make Torah accessible to all, to make our living tradition a tradition that is owned by the people, for the people. And it is only by doing so that we can guarantee the continuity of the Torah and our people. In doing so, we shout, Am Yisrael Chai. Shabbat Shalom.